Welcome back. Today we'll use PHP inside HTML and learn how to reuse code with include and require. Let's jump in. First, open Laravel and make sure it is running. Now open your PHP course folder in VS Code. For this lesson, create a new folder called Lesson 2. Inside it, create index.php. Remember, if we want PHP code to run, the file should be a .php file. Now let's use PHP inside an HTML page. Inside index.php, write this HTML structure. Title my PHP page, open h1 tag, welcome to my website, open PHP tags, echo double quote. This text comes from PHP and semicolon. Close PHP tag. Now save the file and refresh the browser. You can see a normal HTML heading, and under it PHP prints this text. This text comes from PHP. So the idea is simple. HTML creates the structure of the page. PHP can generate dynamic content inside that page. HTML is static. PHP can make the page dynamic. Now let's make this a little more useful. Open PHP tag and close PHP tag. $name. A variable is like a label box. Store a value inside it, then use it anytime by its name. For example, Ali, inside double quote and semicolon. Here we create a variable. A variable stores a value. In PHP, variable names start with a $. Now inside the body, change the h1 to this. Welcome. Open PHP tag and close PHP tag. Echo double quote $. Now save and refresh the browser. You should see welcome Ali. Now change the value from Ali to John. Save and refresh again. Now the page changed. This is the power of PHP. But PHP can change the content. Later, this value could come from a form, a database, or user. But for now, we keep it simple. Before we continue, let's answer a common question. Why do we use index.php instead of index.html? Because PHP code runs inside PHP files. If you write PHP code inside an HTML file, in most setups, PHP will not run. So the rule is simple. If your page contains PHP code, use a .php file. A PHP file can contain HTML and PHP together. Now, imagine we have more pages. Home page, about page, contact page. All of these pages may have the same header, and all of them may have the same footer. If we copy the same header and footer code into every page, it works, but is not clean. Because if we want to change the menu, we need to change it in every single file. That is annoying. A better way is create one header.php file, create one footer.php file, then reuse them in different page. This is where include and require help us. Footer.php is for the footer. Header.php is for the header. Index.php is the main page. Style.css is only for simple styling. Open header.php, write this. Open header tag and close header tag. Open navigation tag and close navigation tag. Open a tag, href, index.php, home, and close a tag. Open a tag, href, empty, about. Open a tag, href, empty, contact. This is just normal HTML, but now we put it inside a separate file. This means we can reuse this header in other page later. Now open footer.php, write this. Open footer tag, open p tag, copyright 2026, my PHP website, and close footer tag. Again, this is simple HTML. But now our footer is also separated. Now go back to index.php. Then create the HTML structure. Inside the head, link the CSS file. Open link tag, href, style.css. This tells the browser to load our CSS file. Inside the body, load the header file. Include double quote, header.php, and semicolon. Then add the main content. Open main tag, h1, welcome, open PHP tag, echo, $name, semicolon, and close PHP tag, and after main, load footer file. Open PHP tag, include double quote, footer.php, and semicolon, and close PHP tag. Now the full index.php should look like this. Now save all files and refresh the browser. Great. The header comes from header.php. The footer comes from footer.php. And the main content stays inside index.php. This makes our page cleaner. Why include is useful? If I want to change the website title, I only change header.php. If I want to change the footer text, I only change footer.php. I don't need to edit every page. This is one of the first steps toward cleaner PHP projects. Now, let's talk about include and require. They are very similar. Both can load another PHP file. For example, PHP include double quote header.php and PHP require double quote header.php. Both can load header.php. But there is one important difference. If include cannot find the file, PHP shows a warning, but the page may continue. If require cannot find the file, PHP stops the page. So remember, it's like this. Include means try to load this file. Require means this file is required. The page needs it. For important file, use require. For optional files, include can be okay. Let's change this line. PHP include header.php to PHP require header.php. Also change the footer line to PHP require footer.php. Now save and refresh. The page still works because header.php and footer.php exist. Now let's change. Require header.php to require headers.php. Save and refresh. Now PHP shows an error and stops the page. That is because require needs the file. Now fix it again. Save and refresh. Everything works again. Now it is your turn. Create a new file called about.php. Inside about.php, use the same header.php and footer.php. And add a paragraph about your website. Add a simple title, about page, then go to header.php and add a link to about.php. Now test both pages. Great job! Today, we learn include, require, and basic PHP with HTML. Next up, variable, data types, and constant. See you in the next lesson.